In this video, we're going to take a look at the new user demographic pricing models available in AlleyTrak. And user demographic pricing model at a high level is the ability to charge different rates based on some information about the players or the participants for an event booking. So to get started, we want to go into locations and packages. We create and manage our demographic pricing at the package level. And so I have this example here, this bowl your head off package. It's charging $20 per person currently. And if we go ahead and click edit, we can see the controls that are available to us. Now, what we're focused on here is looking at our pricing format and then our user demographic data. Now, to be able to charge user demographic rates, you do need to be using a pricing format of either per game or per person. That's going to determine if out of the number of players we have, how many of those players fit into this specific criteria. So it does support both formats, and we define still our base price. And so as an example, we might have like a standard rate for adults, and then we may need to create some user demographic pricing for different user types. And so that might be kids under 12, might have league members, seniors, and then maybe we offer this first-time bowler training as well. And so we're able to go in and create any number of these that we need. Very easy process. We put in a title and a price, and then we're good to go. And then we can modify these. We can change the order of them as we would like. And again, same editing experience of defining a title and a price for that demographic. Now, we also have the ability to create dynamic prices still in our package manager. And when we create our dynamic prices, we'll see that we also have controls for each user demographic that's defined, and then we can put in a price for that. So very powerful way to be able to manage your pricing still, using dynamic prices to have early bird specials, peak rates, things like that with dynamic pricing, and then you can also account for the different user types that you have as well. Now, one thing we can see here is I have this first-time bowler demographic that has been defined, and when I created this dynamic price initially, I had only these three user groups defined, and then I recently created a fourth one, and I never defined a price for it in this dynamic price. Now, the fallback for this is if you never define a price for a user demographic dynamic price, we will always default back to the standard rate for that specific dynamic price. So there's some good fallback in there just in case you're not going through and making those changes as you may be defining different demographics. Historically, you'll usually configure your demographic pricing, and that'll get put in place, and then you'll create new dynamic prices over time where needed. And so there's usually a down the page flow that you would take, and you're less likely to go back up and add new demographics over time. Now, once we have the package created, we can go to the customer portal to view it and book it. Otherwise, if we want to look at the package specifically, we can click View Direct Link, and then we can get into that checkout process. Now, there's a check that takes place when the customer is starting to book their event, and it's going to validate if the customer is booking a package that has user demographic pricing enabled. And if it does, based on the number of guests that are participating, when we display the event details information that we're going to collect, we'll display those demographics and collect that information from the customer. The limit is tied to the total number of guests participating, so it's not possible to have 6 kids under 12 and a league member. We would need to modify our selections here to fall within that criteria. And then we can go ahead and click continue and then start to view availability and then book a time. Now, I'm going to inspect this, and we have some console logs that are currently being output so we can visualize how pricing is being calculated currently. And if I go ahead and click this 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. time, click continue after reviewing our add-ons, we can see how our pricing structure is being applied currently. And so there's multiple iterations where order totals are calculated. In the final instance of it, we can see that 5 guests were charged at $12 a piece. We had 1 guest being charged at $15, 0 at $15, 0 at $20, getting us our order total for this event at $75 for the package. And then after we include our sales tax, convenience fees, and things like that, we end up with a grand order total of $83.73. Now, we can also go in and change our duration, which would also increase our pricing structure. So if we increase this to an hour and a half and leave our settings the same, we're going to see that modifier rate, the 1, is going to change, and now we're charging it at 1.5 because they have added on an extra half hour to their booking, so they're just getting an increased rate for that as well. So this does support scaling durations as well when you charge per person based off of time. And then another factor here is looking at dynamic pricing. And so if we go in here and then click continue, and then we pick a time that's in the evening. If I recall correctly, that dynamic price I created was for the evening. We'll see that our rates are going to get modified again, different rates being applied based on the day and time of the booking. So really excited about this new functionality for user demographic pricing. It has a lot of potential to allow organizations to offer more complex pricing models in their event bookings. And then in the future, we have plans to build in a control when you're charging per game for user demographic pricing, where you can offer 1 or 2 games for free for that specific user type. And in the bowling space, a common program is Kids Bowl Free, where kids get the first game free as part of their like package that they have purchased. And so that would be a good way for them to be able to redeem that while possibly choosing to purchase additional games that they want to play for. So again, really excited for user demographic pricing. If you have any questions about it or any feedback about the feature, feel free to reach out. Thanks so much for your time.